what does the ecosystem need to do, and how does it need to work together to make this happen?
Yeah, and it's a, by the way, very big topic, and I think we as an industry have to tune into the ecosystem. But I'll put it simply in few blocks out there. There is obviously an ecosystem of devices and endpoints, and now we are not talking about just mobile phones. We're talking about industrial grade devices. We are talking about manufacturing. We are talking about you walking into a mining industry. The amount of equipments, heavy equipments being used is enormous, right? So the landscape of ecosystem just on devices and endpoints have completely changed the game, and we have to start thinking from that perspective. The second angle is about the developers, and the builders and the app developers ecosystem. That in itself is an ecosystem that needs to be tapped, understood. How do the network persona become simple enough to attract to a 19-year-old developer, right? So that's the second part of the ecosystem puzzle. The third part of the ecosystem is the technology players. We are talking quite a bit about immense deep technologies, and Malik was spot on in outlining the people challenge we have. So we need to start opening them and start thinking of who are these ecosystem partners who can move data faster for me, who can build a better ML logics for me, who can derive generative frameworks in the right productivity suite for me. And finding those right partnerships is going to be critical. So there are technology partners as well that's going to go play a critical role. And fourth, and the most important, is understanding the needs of industries and enterprises. And there is an ecosystem of SI partner that lies out there. I think we'll have to tune to that, both from a service provider perspective, from a vendor like Nokia perspective. We have to tune into the SIs who are playing in manufacturing, ports, mining, retail, shipyards, and understand their needs, and then fit to the delivery of these networks to them. So I'll probably pause on that. Quite a bit of diverse players, but we got to address to all four, I guess.
Yeah, just finally conclude with this point, Mallik. Actually, so this, from what Jitin's saying, this means that mobile operators need to engage with a new set of players they haven't necessarily partnered with in the past.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think it also starts with the trust, right? Trust in terms. So let's say we started working with hyperscalers last 3-4 years. We've been working, of course, with the network ecosystem providers, let's say Ericsson, Nokia kind of companies. We have developed over a period of trust. And how do you build this kind of trust with different industry players? And today, after 3 years, we really realize that none of us, including the big ones like hyperscalers, have ability to deliver a solution for the customer. Right? I think it's extremely clear. However big you are, however deep pockets you have, you can't deliver a solution what is needed for even a small customer specifically in the enterprise segment. That's a big realization for all of us, and that's where we said, okay, if you want to work in the ecosystem, right, you need to create an win-win partnership, right? And that's how when we start interacting with as Jatin mentioned, right from the application developers, you need to make their life simple. Telecom has been extremely wall gardened, and if you want to interact with telecom, you need to be an engineer, right? Now, if you want to go and publish a API on the any marketplace, it has to be very simple, and that's where I think as an industry we came together with Kamara, right? Both the operators as well as the supplier ecosystem. Everybody works together and say, okay, we need to provide the APIs which is simpler for a 90-year-old guy to consume. That starts from there. And then, of course, in the network side of it, if you want to go to cloud, I mean, you don't build on-premise infrastructures, you go into a public cloud kind of environment. That's where the ecosystem play comes in, right? How do you work with the technology providers and the infrastructure providers? So we are learning all these ability to work, and our attitude as a service provider is also evolving. We always felt I need to have one neck to choke. Because I'm running critical infrastructure, I need one guy to manage it. But that's what we've learned a lot and say, okay, it's not going to have the next few years is not going to be like this, right? You will have to be orchestrating the different players in the industry to serve the customers because the needs are significantly changing from the customer perspective also.
Yeah, really interesting. There's a lot going on there. A big sea change for the industry from what you're describing. Gentlemen, that's unfortunately all we've got time for, but you've given me some really interesting insights there. So thank you for that. And I appreciate you giving up your time today. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Pleasure, David. And hey, Jitin, catch you up sometime.
Absolutely. And thank you, David, and thank you, Mallik, for your time.